eat like slaves anymore because we're not slaves.
If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel. Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello, hello, hello. Grand rising to all. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. And today's topic, we will be talking about food disorders and addiction. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. If you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zarif. I see people coming in already. Hello, hello. I want to say hello to Allison Gentle. Hi, Dad. Love you. Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning to Shirley Gentle Smart. Hey, Gentle's in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have not already, please share the live so others can be a part of the conversation. We are here every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. PST. We are currently live streaming on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram as well. So thank you all so much for joining us. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the party going. There you go.
All right, what's going on? It's good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, we got a really great show. I want to say hello to all the Gentles out there, and the Smarts, and what else? Bentons.
Yes.
Did I get everybody? But I just want to, everybody's excited about the coming of the new child.
Yes.
So I'm very excited, and I'm very thankful that Chantel is doing the healthy stuff to keep her health up. It's just it's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time. Well, we're going to talk about something that we've talked about here before, because it really deserves, it merits being repeated. So the topic is food disorders. Now, what goes along with those food disorders in some cases are addictions. So although we'll hit addictions lightly today, it is a serious undertaking when we don't pay attention to it, because this is something that can definitely change the quality of your life.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
So with one of the things that I want to ask you, Carolyn, what is it, any foods that you have you found yourself like you feel like you can't do without it type food?
I would have to say no to that right off top. If I'm just thinking about it, I don't have anything where it's like, I just can't do it without, I don't, which is a good thing, right? I'm able to adjust well, I feel like,
Yeah.
So no, there isn't. Not
Okay.
that I can do that. No.
Right. Do you know other people with those kinds of challenges?
Well, I mean, I know some people, even like with, let's say, switching over to plant-based, some people, they just cannot get rid of, or say they just have to have cheese. I know that's one of those things that people say, I just have to have cheese. It's one of those things. So outside of that, no. I mean, dairy is high on the list of things that people just can't seem to not consume,
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I also see that most people is hard to do without, and that's sugar. So, sugar is one of those. I think I'll just go ahead and kick it off talking about that, because it's just really, sugar has really messed up so many people's health, from all the arterioles, the capillaries, that's the connection of our eyeballs to the brain, and all the neuropathies that we get in our hands and our feet, the number one cause of amputations in America. You know, all of these different things. It's really incredible that it's not considered a drug. It definitely affects us like a drug. So we're going to go ahead and get into it as we thank everybody that's here. I want to definitely shout out to my little brother, Michael Averett is in the house all the way from Detroit. Thank you. DVH Harris is also in the house. Chef Boyd is here. Thank you very much. I'd love to have chefs on, because when a chef is listening to you, they're really thinking about the beauty of being able to satisfy the taste or satiety and give you the nutrients or nourishment that's needed. So
that's a great combination.
Yeah. So very cool. So what we're going to do here, we'll let that everybody welcome over here on. Let's share also, get people to come in here, because we are definitely moving. Now, we've gotten a lot done this year, and we want to just go ahead and keep that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Give me a high five. Let's. There you go. All right, here we go.
All right.
Okay, you know, like as far as the sugar addiction, you know, what happens to your body when you are actually eating sugar? We already know that. We know that usually you get like, it gives you that little jolt of energy that makes you feel happy in some cases. Other people, they eat too much of it, and that might disturb the balance of their bowel movement. But the other people will get like what is called hyperglycemia, which is high blood sugar. So this can cause a lot of problems, even the onset of type 2 diabetes. But some of those things we're not going to go too in depth with them today, because I'm just going to give you enough where you can, it'll shake you up a little bit. You know what I mean? It'll give you a little, this is just awareness call, because it's no joke to people that are dealing with these addictions, especially in sugar. So what happens when we talked about what happens when you eat sugar? We know what happens, how you feel, and why people keep going back to it for that sweet taste. But let's talk a little bit about what happens when your brain, when you give up the sugar. What happens to your brain? How does it affect your brain? Well, high levels of this sugar, the sweet stuff, you know, that we can get it in a whole lot of different forms. But when we have all of that sugar in our diet, is known to be very unhealthy for us, and by cutting it out also can be difficult, because particularly it can trigger a range of unpleasant symptoms. And this could be happening because there's a number of reasons, such as a shift in taste and a shift in lifestyles. When a person goes from, for instance, vegetarian to vegan, or if a person goes from eating meat to not eating meat, or a person's tastes are adjusted to eating meat, chicken, fish, turkey, so forth. They're used to doing that. It's not just as simple as just, I'm going to stop and then I'm going to start eating this other way. The reason that many people are disenchanted when they eat certain meats, or they eat certain foods or certain lifestyles, because they become adjusting. They adjust to that type of eating and that kind of lifestyle. It doesn't mean that they're an addict. It just simply means that this is preferable. This is the way that one likes to eat. But this could be happening for those reasons that I mentioned before: the taste, the satiety, and the lifestyle. And with the popularity of the low carbohydrate diets like keto diet, for instance, increasing keto diet has been really increasing popularity in the last decade. And the greater understanding of the dangers of eating excess sugar on our health may also be driving this drop. Now, the drop that I'm speaking of is like, eating less and less sugar and eating better, like more vegan, more whole food, plant-based. Whole food, plant-based, by the way, means that the majority or primary food that you choose from, or the premise, is basically plant foods. But whole food, plant-based also includes people that eat animal food. So I want to definitely differentiate that, because that deserves to be separated and understood in that way. Reducing sugar intake has clear health benefits, including the reduction of calories, or caloric intake, which can help with weight loss. It can also help with improved dental health. And a lot of people look over that, because the sugar that's attacking your enamel and dentin is easily, it can definitely wear on your mouth, and it can wreak havoc in your mouth. But people sometimes report experiencing negative side effects. And when they eat less sugar, they have cravings, and their mouth waters a lot, and they can't seem to get up and get going. They feel very fatigued. They have headaches. They have mood changes, which are usually temporary, but among the symptoms, the reason that they get these side effects, or these kind of negative effects from stopping eating, when they stop eating sugar, or when they eat sugar, is still poorly understood in my estimation, because the information that changes from one person to another, instead of it being scientific, isn't at the point that I would say do this instead of that. However, we know that when you're eating sugar, eating too much of it is usually the problem, when people overdo it. Now, carbohydrates, if you're thinking about carbohydrates breaking down to sugar or glucose, well, carbohydrates, they come in several forms, including as sugars, and which can naturally occur in many foods, such as like the fructose that you find in fruit, and the lactose that you find in milk. And then you have table sugar. Table sugar is also known as sucrose, and is found in sugar cane. And then sugar beet and maple syrup, while the glucose and the fructose are the main constituents of honey. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to bring this up so you can go along with me here. So we're talking about the eating disorders and disordered eating, so that you'll get a really good understanding. First of all, I'm going to pass some of this, because some of this is just some of the things that we've gone over before, but some of it really merits, saying it again. Now, this is first, before I get into some of the causes, I want to just really thank those of you that feel like you're out on your own, and you're maybe staying with someone, if you're rooming and they eat different than you, but you want to eat healthier, but it doesn't work out well because you have to share the refrigerator space, or your stuff and their stuff, and all of those kinds of situations. What happens is that things will change over time. And again, remember, it's not really about talking the person into it. It's about setting the example. So as we continue here, the exact cause of eating disorders. So the eating disorders, again, I want to talk about disordered eating too, but the eating disorders, the cause of them, again, that's, as I said, with other things that happen, everything cannot be explained by science. Everything cannot be explained by medicine. So there are some things that happen that we just don't understand. One of the things we know that can cause some eating disorders can be genetic. Some people just may have the genes that increase the risk of developing eating disorders. And then you have biology and biological factors such as changes in brain chemicals. They may play a role also in eating disorders. Now, when it comes to mental illness, it's an umbrella term for a variety of disorders that affect a person's behavior, their emotional responses, or thinking, or a combination of all of these. Mental health issues are common, and experts estimate that 1 in 5 adults in America experience mental illness each year. Now, this even goes up higher if you look in the Black community. We have an abundance of mental illness, and that's why places like NAMI and other organizations that focus on mental illness are so important. Okay, so first we talk about some of the disorders that we have. We start with anxiety. Now, this anxiety is a big one, and I've talked to so many people about it. Some people they define anxiety as worrying about something in the future, and they define depression as something that has happened in the past. Well, that's too crude, meaning that it's too simple. If you simplify it like that, it'll be pretty easy to find ways to get past it or to cure it. But it is very complex, and that's why people that may have anxiety also are very confused about, what steps do I take that are most effective. So anxiety is generally characterized by feelings of, being tense, or worrisome thoughts, and physical responses such as sweating or increased heartbeat. So people who have an anxiety disorder often deal with recurring intrusive thoughts, and this is unwanted. It's just something like the auto suggestion that one gets when you're thinking over and over things, and sometimes these things are very intrusive. They're unwanted, automatic thoughts that get stuck in your head, and they cause a great distress and anxiety. A lot of people can't sleep well because they sleep a little while, and that is compounded by them maybe eating too much before they go to bed. They take all of that energy that amplifies the disorder of anxiety. So if you are faced with anxiety, or you have a loved one that's dealing with anxiety, this may be a good time to explain this to them, cutting that meal down and allowing about 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. Also, meditation is really important. Affirmations, prayer, time that you shut everything down and give all of your attention to the peace of mind. Now, anxiety also is something that people may take supplements to help reduce the anxiety. And sometimes that works, but it's really important that you have a person, if you're working with a person, that this is a person that they comply. And that means that they follow instructions. And let me tell you, It's not going to be as easy as you think it is, because when a person is asking you what to do, they want immediate results. And sometimes it's not like from one point to another point. It's not a straight line. It's a crooked line. And sometimes the line is broken and you got to put it back together, because some people, a part of their personality may be just a lot of, angst, which is a lot of movement and sometimes unrest. Now, the generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, is defined by chronic worry, or as well as the physical symptoms associated with anxiety, often occurring without a particular trigger. So the generalized anxiety is when a person's constantly, I know this isn't going to work out. Maybe I'll do it this way. I'll do it that way. Maybe I go this way or go that way. There are many things that aren't in our reach and our control. So that is one of the things that's very important to realize, that some things are simply out of your control. Learning which things are out of your control will help you immediately deal with generalized anxiety. This is just something that you should look into, because it will definitely change your quality of life. So slow down. Use some of the mindful techniques. You got, as I said, meditate. You might not even, you never meditated before, but if you just sit back and just close your eyes and just really relax and, make a wish, and, I'm not playing, but, the main thing to do is to make sure that you slow down. Prayer is very important, because many times we pray with affirmations and we say positive things. Now, some people pray and their idea of prayer is asking. But in the way that you can help yourself relax is when you pray for the things that are already in motion, things you already have, things that you are wanting to be, things that you already are. All of this is a way to look at it in a different way, but prayer is very important for stabilization and strength of your mind. Okay, then we have other disorders like panic disorder. Now, this is like panic disorders when a person is characterized by repeated episodes of intense fear or panic attacks. Now, a lot of people are on the whole food plant-based diet, but most people are on the fear-based diet, because the things that we learn about nutrition has nothing to do with nutrition. They're selling you an idea and opinion, and these people aren't really getting the information that they need. So they're getting misinformation and disinformation. And this has constantly been going on and on. Unfortunately, it looks like in our community, in the Black community, there's so much competition with this nutritionist and that nutritionist and this doctor and that doctor. Look, we're in such a messed up situation when it comes to eating and the different disorders that we need the contribution of everybody. We don't need to divide. We need to bring the stuff together, because this is what really makes a difference in a strong culture, a strong community, a strong environment, a healthy environment, and we need the help of everybody. And everybody is good. Everybody got something different that they can offer. So let's go ahead to the social anxiety disorder, sometimes called social phobia. And as you know, phobia is a fear, and this causes people to be overwhelmed by anxiety and social situations. Now, as we continue here, we're talking about a phobia. A phobia is an irrational fear, because some people cannot rationalize with, how can you be afraid of that cartoon? That is a cartoon, and the cartoon is, maybe they have a phobia of cats. and they see like the cats that are animated. And this to most intellectuals would be irrational. So some of the fear is a type of animal blood or a situation such as flying in an airplane or an environment such as dark places. Almost sounds like that. Claustrophobia, when you're in a certain small place and you're thinking about how do I escape here if it happens, if there's earthquake, if there's going to be a tsunami, whatever. All of those are real, and it's very difficult for people to get above and over that. Some people have been cured of it, but it really takes focus and working on it constantly. All right, so I'm going to do one more here, eating disorders, and then we're going to look at some of the comments that we have, some of the questions that we may have. So this is the time to write the question in, and then we can see if we can give you a satisfying response. So let's talk a little bit about the eating disorder. And eating disorder is characterized by compulsive, unhealthy eating behaviors and is often associated with preoccupation with one's body. So this is like an eating disorder. It can be caused by having another disease like this body dysmorphia, for instance, like a person that isn't pleased with the shape of their body, isn't pleased with maybe some of the things that they got genetically from their mom, their dad, a recessive gene from a grandparent. So these things, all of these, some people live with this every day. Now, though an eating disorder is a mental health condition, keep that in mind. It's a mental health condition, and it is also a physical one, since severe disturbances in eating patterns impact the physical health. For example, severe restriction of calories. Now, you have a severe restriction of calories, and that's anorexia. So you will have people that have anorexia. Now you have anorexia nervosa, and when that is when you take that same restriction of eating and you couple it with throwing up. You gag yourself and cause throwing up. So then that is the bulimia nervosa or anorexia nervosa. So let's go. I'm going to have Kara come back up to the stage here, and then we're going to find out if we have any questions here. What we're looking at, Kara?
No questions. We just have people in saying hello. Dr. Shears. Dr. Shear Stevens says aloha. Hello to you. And then I've got a few screens up. That's why I'm like going over and over here on Instagram. We just got just some hearts going. But the information that you're talking about, Dr. Zarif, is very important. You mentioned anxiety. And I went to the beach last weekend, and I did some grounding, and it was really nice just to have I just had my feet in the sand, just buried in the sand, wiggling my toes, and just being a part of the earth, so to speak, and it felt really great. It's something that I haven't done in a long time. And I know that's one of the natural things that I've heard people say that really helps with just calming the nerve and just being just at peace,
Yeah.
And relaxing. So that's one of the things that I did, and it was just really nice. So I think that's something that people should add to their list of things, just to kind of like have you be more peaceful or just more calm, if that's something that's needed in your life. Also going to or even just being at the beach in the ocean and just hearing the waves crashing. There's that combination of the birds and, just that whole environment. It was just really nice. It was just really peaceful and calming.
Yeah, that definitely sounds beautiful. Yeah, it's great to be able to, that is a great suggestion also, because sometimes your environment may be triggering the very thing that you want to get away from. So a lot of times you have people, especially like you have a patient in the hospital that starts to heal themselves, and then once they heal, then they get discharged and they go to an environment that is counter their health.
Right.
So it's really important. And if you're in a situation like that, it may be good for you to periodically go out and put your feet in the earth and sit back and go somewhere where you feel that you're safe. You don't want to have one eye open, one eye closed, or
Right.
feeling jittery about anything. But it is a very great suggestion. Thank you for that, Care. For people to get out there and feel good. I recently also did. I love the whole putting my feet on the earth. It's something about like, even if you connect with the sand and the water is coming up and back, and it's so wonderful, and people are doing their thing, you doing your thing, nobody's bothering you. Sometimes we need that time to relax. So wow, that's really good. But I love that feeling in the grass too, that when my
Oh,
feet are going through the blades of grass, and the ground is soft, and the lawn is well manicured. It doesn't have to be all the time, but it's a feeling of that, all that greenery out there, and uh, everything. The older I get, and I am getting older, by the looks of all my silver. I love it though. I love it. I love it. It's one of the greatest things. I never knew I would just embrace aging, because it's just so. I am so thankful for being able to be at a peace of mind, and I'm around people that are just really, they think just like me, or to some degree we have an equivalency of thoughts and ideas, and it's so wonderful when you can really embrace being at peace.
yeah.
And when you're younger, ooh,
When you're younger, you're thinking more about what others think of you instead of what
yeah,
you're thinking about yourself. Right.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people just get addicted to noise. you
Yeah.
know, Loud voices screaming, you coming up maybe with the family and all that. But
Mhm.
great. Thank you, everybody, again for being here. We're going to continue because this time goes really fast. So let's go ahead. I'm going to bring this back up, and we're going to go right back into, we already been into the eating disorders. And now I wanted to also get into disordered eating. Now, it's not up here in front of me, but the disordered eating is very important, because what it sounds very close, but disordered eating versus a eating disorder, they are two different things. Now, disordered eating might be something that you do when you're tired, or you find yourself wanting to, or let's take this. Here's a good one: is like when you are you're in a bad mood, you didn't get enough rest, and then you start to restrain. You don't eat anything, so you might not have an eating disorder, but disordered eating because you're upset, or you're not able to rest like you want to. So it causes you to change your mood, and your mood affects your appetite. See? So you might hear people talk about disordered eating versus an eating disorder. We talked about some of the disorders. The other one is binge eating. And binge eating, when you think about that, just think about a whole lot of food. People eating just an enormous amount of food. Now, people do that also as far as bulimia, but the binge eating comes people with that binge eat don't purge. They don't throw up the food. So that's a big difference there. Now, what I want to do here, let me go back here. I don't want to go too fast here. Let's go to the, after binge eating, the avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. Long title, right? But it's a condition that that's characterized by the fear of eating certain foods that results in nutrition deficiencies. And usually a person that is doing avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, these are people that say, oh, I don't eat any carbs. No carbs? Nothing. No, I don't get no. Because they have been taught that some of the noodles and the penne and macaroni and all of that is refined and is ultra processed. And you're right, when you get that type of ultra processed food, that can cause problems in your body, especially causing you to have an insulin spike. But when you look at the other things that can happen here is the restriction is getting rid of a whole group. Like I eat no fruit. People that they don't eat certain foods because they were told that they're hybrids. And this is really weird to me because look at all the people that go, when you go to a restaurant, you might ask for, yeah, do you do this, you do that. But for the most part, you don't know if it's organic or inorganic. And if most of the time in these restaurants, they're not. And so that is just something to keep in mind. People do change when they go out. And a lot of people, for the most part, you want the fries, you want the onion rings, you want the fried chicken, or you want the pizza, those kind of foods. But a lot of times when you restrict those foods, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that restrict the food that has all the nourishment, the nutrients in them. So, all right, now let's move along to some of the other diseases. Now we go into disorder, and one is pica. Now, pica is a reoccurring episodes of eating non-food objects, and that's like dirt, is chalk, is starch, is different nuts. Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that's made of alloys, and the people that eat toilet paper, paper towels, little bitty pebbles, all of those are part of pica. Now, why they do it, and you've probably seen people that eat dirt and they eat this and then they grow out of it. Some people grow out of it. Some women that like a pregnancy, sometimes they increase on things that appear to be pica-ish. But just as I was saying earlier, that's disordered eating instead of eating disorder. So a person might just do that temporarily, and then they don't, after they get rid of a craving, then they don't do it. When they continue to repeat it, right after each other, the next meal, then the next meal, and the next meal, then that's when we run into a problem. There's also rumination disorder. Now, as soon as you see rumination, you're thinking about a person in thought, something heavy on your mind. But this is in the case of rumination disorder, you're talking about repeatedly regurgitating food unintentionally. So that means bringing swallowed food back up, just like a bird or another animal. They bring up a person that has this disorder has learned to cause themselves to throw up. And I don't mean by gagging. They can throw up by just controlling certain muscles, thinking a certain thought, and making a certain function to bring up the food that they've just broken down, and it's broken down to chyme. Chyme is what your food is changes into after you masticate, after you chew it up. This is really, really incredible. And then there's other specified eating disorders. As I said before, the disordered eating refers to a range of irregular eating behaviors. And some behaviors include restricting the amount of food one eats, compulsive eating, and overly restricting the types of food that one's eat. Overdoing it. And that's a big thing that we do, is that we become extreme. Okay, let's see here. Some of the signs of and the symptoms. I think I'm going to go and pass this, but I did want to get into this part about the emotional signs of disordered eating. The most common emotional signs include being preoccupied with your weight, with your food, dieting, calories, and carbohydrates, to the point that eating and managing your weight becomes a primary concern over other activities. This is a person that every time they dress up, they are very hard on themselves. Ooh, look, this fat popping out my arms, my neck. That looks terrible. Look at my neck, or my cheeks, the jowls, they're too fluffy, or the stomach. Oh, this is so round. Or things that you can't do anything about. That you're a grown person, you've already had a growth spurt, and you're 5'4", but you want to be 6'2". So it's things that we really can help ourselves with by selecting a better way to think of ourselves. When you start off with yourself and loving you, that's the best beginning to doing better with any of the diseases and disorders, once you understand your worth. Another thing that as far as signs, emotional signs, is being preoccupied with your the body image, as I said earlier, the body size and the shape, and a specific part of the body and weight. This reminds you of Michael Jackson, right? Or the stories that we heard about Michael Jackson, is like the nose and the skin and those kinds of things. Now, I can't speak to that because I seen Michael Jackson like maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. And I met him. When I did meet him, I didn't get it. I wasn't there to get information. Hey, man, you doing something to your body? So, I met him just like I would meet any brother. And but we got to take care of ourselves. Performing specific food rituals. Some people perform different rituals, and this causes disordered eating also. And that might be before you eat, or it might be, oh yeah, I before I eat anything, I make sure I clean. I put all of my silverware over here, and then I put my water here. I got to have this. I got to, that kind of thing. That's when a person is preoccupied. It's very difficult to reason with that person, because there's a belief system, there's a biological imbalance that these individuals keep eating in such a way. Okay. Now, the one of the things that this, as far as the risk of disordered eating, they can cause, because again, if it's extreme, a greater risk of obesity and eating disorders, bone loss, gastrointestinal disturbances, electrolyte and fluid imbalances, low heart rate and blood pressure, increased anxiety, and depression and social isolation. All of these are a part. You see, when you get off balance, even if you like being by yourself, I love being by myself. I think that is power there, but it doesn't mean that don't be with, to be a recluse when you don't have anybody around you. We all need each other. And it doesn't mean that you have to be in a crowd, but having a wonderful companion is very helpful. And some may just have the companion of a dog, a cat, or some other animal, but is nothing like human touch. Okay, so we'll go ahead and some of the questions that you can ask yourself to determine if you need help is one of the questions is, do you use food to escape from stress? And this is really important because some people have a jacked up day that they feel like everything isn't going their way. They feel grumpy, cantankerous. They can't take another step, but they use the food as therapy. So the food, when a person is facing a lot of difficulties, they use the food to escape the stress. Another question is, does the number of your weighing scale affect your thinking? Are you, first of all, weighing yourself to, daily? If you're doing that, that is a problem. That's too much. You're not going to change that much from one day to another. Now, in some situations, if you're under a doctor's care and they find that this is therapeutic, or some professional that is working with you that has some unique technique, then, it might be worth it. But I find that is very neurotic and a display of mismanagement. Now, the other question is, are you constantly thinking food? If you think about food all the time you want to eat, and you see pictures of slices of cake and pie and popcorn and pizza, and you're eating a big pastrami sandwich, or, you get the message. If you see yourself doing that over and over again and you realize it, then you may need help. Is very important. And if you need help, if I can help you, just go to drzarif.com. Make sure that you follow the prompts, and you can actually set an appointment where we can sit down and talk about your challenges. Okay. All right. So anyway, also binge eating was another one that I didn't go by, but binge eating, if you're eating large amounts of food, look, every time you eat it, it shouldn't be an event. It doesn't have to be a big plate, a big platter of something. You eat small amounts of food and you eat it through the day, and you're going to be just fine. If you just wait around and eat, and then you don't know what you're going to eat. I used to eat once a day. At one time in my life, when I was younger, I was in my 20s, well, actually teens and 20s, and I used to eat one helping of food, or not helping of food, but I would have dinner, one meal a day. And I used to eat like I wasn't going to get anything else, because I was so hungry. But I also gained weight during that time. And I was like, I felt my jeans rubbing while I was in school. And I'm like, whoa. I don't want that. So anyway, it's very important that you do these things in balance and you don't overdo it. If you're thinking about food all day, when you get the food, you're going to devour it. And after you finish with it, you're going to go back in for another bit of it. Okay. And in summary, disordered eating patterns, they include restricting the quantity or the type of food that you eat, eating compulsively, and other unusual eating patterns. Typically, disordered eating does not meet all the criteria of an eating disorder. So your healthcare professionals, including primary care physicians, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, registered dietitians, and nutritionists, can all help assess whether someone has disordered eating patterns. And treatment can include the psychotherapy and working with a registered dietitian or nutritionist. So that's it for that. So we'll stop right there, everybody. This has been very, very lovely. And as you continue moving forward, it's really important that you take time to select your food, not do anything to the extreme. Remember also, if you have anxiety or depression or any of those types of maladies, you want to definitely address it. And you want to address it by getting professional help. Don't do that thing that you're doing it on your own. And if you are getting professional help, be patient and listen to the doctor. Follow, comply. Make sure that you're following the instructions that you're giving, and be consistent. Don't do it your way sometimes, and then the doctor said do this. You wait until you get sick, and then you get back in contact with your doctor, or you make another appointment. And today, appointments usually take a very long time before you can see your doctor, because we're backlogged. So if you have any of these types of extremes, disordered eating or eating disorders, it's time to check it out. There are 800 numbers that you can call there. You can just search those. There's plenty of them that you can call and find out the one that suits you the best. Make sure that you're exercising. The body cannot do it all by itself. The body needs help. If you're an older person and you have sarcopenia, which is like the atrophy that sets up in your body, that you are not using, your muscles enough, you're not exercising, you're not sweating, you're not jogging, you're not walking, you're not doing anything, well, you can expect that you may have some problems. Now, you have other people that look fantastic. They don't look like they missed a day in their lives of exercise, cuts everywhere, lean. But a lot of that can be, or part of that can be, genetics. So don't get caught up in what you see. It's about the health, and a lot of health is internally, endogenously. So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself through your environment, your exercise, make sure that you're eating nutrient food, and keep a balance of sleep. Now, don't forget small amounts of food. It doesn't have to be an event. Keep that in mind, and eat the healthiest foods that you can possibly get your hands on. Every once in a while, you're going to eat something that isn't what you would call healthy. Don't beat yourself up about it. You eat a small amount, you eat it temporarily. And if you're buying something, look at that also. If you're buying some salty stuff or some sugary stuff or some oily stuff, you want to make sure that you control it small amounts. Okay. So I know that this isn't the most yay, ooh, we having fun thing, because the thing that I'm doing is I'm doing my best to elevate, to update, and to educate. So I want you to elevate yourself. I want you to update to know the latest thing. And I want you to definitely understand that we are here to educate so that you will know more, take away more from this instead of just the, that was fun. Okay. We appreciate your hour of power that you shared with us. We bring Carolyn, join me up here. All right, Carolyn, thank you very much, Carolyn. As always, that went by fast. We got a couple of minutes. You want to go ahead and fill it in with any remarks?
Yes, there is a question. What were you saying?
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, there was one question from Stevenson 650 on Instagram, and they're asking, what's the average amount of rest?
The average, that's a good question. The average amount of rest for a man is 8 hours. And the average amount of rest for a woman is 7 hours. A woman can get by on less sleep than a man. And men, we sleep more. It seems like a woman would because of her reproductive system, but that's the average. You should get as much rest as you can, even if you're getting 8 hours. If you can put a couple of hours in, you got it like that, do it like that. A lot of times I can't take a nap, But if you can take a power nap, that's also good to allow yourself to refresh.
All right. And they said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It is definitely a pleasure. Thank you for the question. Let's see if we can get any more questions out here.
We did have a comment from Denise Kane saying thank you for speaking on sugar addiction.
Oh, yeah, you're more than welcome. Yeah, this is definitely something. I used to be addicted to sugar. So there ain't no shame in my sugar cane. Get it? So it's like I used to really be, and I would drool while I would wait. And I had a friend that owned a bakery, and this was in Detroit at Akhenaton's. Now, those of you that are here or from Detroit and you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. Akhenaton, they served food and they had a huge bakery. So people would go there to eat the regular dinners, you know, fried fish and whatever else they were serving there. But they would make bean pies. And they would make bean pies with molasses and brown sugar. And so they were different than the other bean pies, especially like on the west side, because they had honey bean pies. And I used to eat so much sugar. What changed my mind is when once I became educated about how food affects the human body. And then one thing I knew it was doing a great job when I eat bean soup, my skin would be just beautiful. And when I didn't eat bean soup and I ate all that sugar, I had all these bumps. It was it's called acne vulgaris. And I had all these bumps all over the place, so bumpy. My little sister, she was a little girl by then, I think like 6 or 7 years old. She always used to run up to me and give me a hug. And then she ran up to me and gave me a hug, and she saw the bumps on my face and it scared her. And that's my sweetheart. Rest in peace. But she really, she loved me, and I would get up and give her a big hug, and she was afraid of me. And I was so embarrassed. And I think my brother or my mother, somebody at the house says, it's because of your face, all those bumps. It's like something that my brother would say.
They didn't make it any better.
Yeah, I had a big my family, and 8 boys and 1 girl. And 6 are still living. So there's a little bit about me. So, yeah. Any more questions? Yeah, so Denise Kane is definitely an honor. Remember that the sugar, the excess sugar can cause you to lose feeling in your extremities. It can cause you to have all types of peaks, you know, like especially sugar spikes. And then you have insulin spikes. It can ruin your pancreas. It can cause your body to overwork, especially like in your kidneys from your different, it can, and some people, they eat so much of it, it causes diarrhea. There's a whole lot of things that it cause, but think about the taking up when you amputee. You don't want to be that, and losing your feet at the ankles and all that. And remember, if you have a doctor that you can talk to the doctor. The time is valuable time. And I love to give back. That's why you see me here, because I love my people and I love to give back. And those that, you know, if this suits you and it helps you out, I am there to do that. Now, I know that, you know, I knew we weren't going to have like 10,000 people that were listening because, you know, usually we're addicted. We're talking about addictions. We're addicted to entertainment. We want something to entertain us, you know. Right. So if I were talking about some other things, it probably would be more people that would be involved. But we really want to let you know that we appreciate everybody that stays in, that comments, that show up, and we really, really give a special thank to those that share. And you know, we really appreciate that, because when you share and you like, that's what makes a huge difference.
Right.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. And goodbye sounds so final, but it's not.
It's not. It's not. Just want to I just want to congratulate you, Dr. Zari, for consistency. On your consistency. Yes, because I know that you've mentioned it before that people gravitate more to entertainment before they will education. And it is something that we're battling with. There's they're not talking about Diddy right now, I'm not listening type, thing. If they're not talking about Cardi B and Offset, I'm not listening right now. So it's one of those things where it's like, there we have to make sure that we have a great balance of what we're listening to and what we're taking in. And that also relates back to, you talked about anxiety, the things that you're listening to, the things that you're, put it into your mind. So congratulations on consistency. We are going to have times when there are not as many people in the room. We have been consistent, and I just know that it is going to grow, and we're just going to go up from there. So I just want to go ahead and tell you that, because I know sometimes it may seem like it's not, but it is.
Well, thank you. And I just want to, I can't do it by myself. Thank you for you being here and giving me a lot of inspiration. And I really think the Gentle family, I got a whole family of beautiful people that are very in support of us. And we have Chanizi's family too. Chanizi is always, very wonderful, and everybody. I mean, just so wonderful. And I can't even speak to how important Nurse Cheryl Lee is. She's been here with us when nobody is here, and I would say the same thing about Mr. I was going to say Mr. Allison, Mr. Gentle. But, we have people, we really appreciate you all, and this really makes a difference. And now we're coming back with Instagram. Yay, I'm glad you're back in the picture. And it's really wonderful that you're here with us. And I'm glad that you're sharing with everybody else. So we get the different. We want what is this? LI, I think it's LI Radio, St. Stevenson's 650. We have Sky Aim Productions. Michael Avery, Sky Aim Production, has been with us from the beginning and always here. Chef Boyd, thank you very much again. So glad that you're here. And Michael, give my love to the family, all the Averys back there in Detroit. Really appreciate you. And DVH Harris is also here, and we really, really want to thank you.
And I know we are closing because we're a bit over time, but there is one more question that was asked by Stevenson 650, and the question is, what's the best time to eat your first and last meal? And that'll be our question that we close out with.
Okay, the best time to eat, and thank you for the question, because it's a very, very important question. Your first meal isn't determined by your first meal is determined by what time you get up. So if you're sleeping until, let's say, 6 a.m., you get up at 6 a.m., you want to eat within the first hour. So when you're up, like this is how I know it's going to take scheduling and arrangement, but eating your first hour, that's your first hour meal. And that consists of mainly, although you can do it in another way, but fruit is what I suggest to eat, because it's a really wonderful detergent food. I just call it detergent because it's like a cleaner. It helps you to have regulated bowel movement. And I really suggest that. And fresh, cool water is very important also. And then that's your first. Now, if your first meal is at 6 a.m. or any other time, whatever time you want to count 12 hours from that. So 12 hours. If you go from 6 to 6, that's 12 hours. So whatever time you get up, 4:15 to 4:15. Now, suppose you get up in the afternoon. You got one of those schedules. Well, you start off with the time that you get up. You might work all night and then you sleep and you get up with a few hours before you go back to work. And that's you get up at 4:30. So if you get up at 4:30 p.m., then your 12th hour is going to be 4:30 a.m. You see where I'm going? So check that out. It's very important. And when you eat your last meal should be the time, like you get up at 6, then you start at 6 and your cut off period is going to be at 6 p.m. Not the beginning of your meal. The cutoff time is going to be 6 p.m. Okay. So there you have it. And that is your smallest meal. Remember, you don't want to eat proteins while you're getting ready to retire for the rest of the evening. Light meals, tea, a small salad if you're ravenous, like you want to eat a lot of food. And you want to make sure that you eat a small bowl of whatever it is, a small saucer of whatever it is. And that's your smallest meal. We can get more specific later, but just wanted to give you that basic explanation. Thank you again, sir. Or ma'am, I don't know. But thank you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, back to Care.
Yes. Oh, just want to say thank you to everyone that joined us here today. In the Mind of Nature, Dr. Zarif is here to elevate, update, and educate us. So please make sure that you share this live with others. If you are just coming in, go ahead and watch the replay. The replay is going to be on YouTube, Dr. Farid Zarif. While you're there, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, Dr. Zarif and I are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. PST. So
and thank you. Oh, I'm sorry for talking over you.
That was okay. We appreciate everyone here today. Go ahead, Dr. Zarif.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say, yeah, I went back over. I think Stevenson, Saint Evanston, 650 is male. So I was just looking at his photo. So, or it might be a photo of somebody else. I don't know. But anyway, please forgive me if I made a mistake there.
No, he has responded and said you're welcome, and then he says male. So thank
beautiful.
You for clarity.
Thank you. Hey, look, we might just hang around and go into the double digits, y'all. Yeah. So, but we really want to say that we appreciate you again. If you don't mind, I'll summarize. Make sure in order for you to avoid these different types of disorders is not to eat in an extreme way. That's overdoing it with your sugar, your salt, and your oil especially. Make sure you also are in a great environment where love is given and love is received and love is shared. That's where you want to be, in a loving environment. You want to also take time to plan your meals. Plan your meals. I'm guilty of it too. A lot of times you get so busy and I already know what I'm going to eat. Watch what happens when you make your meal plan. It's so wonderful. You don't even have to think about it because you already have it set. So it's really great. Saves time and it saves a lot of money, because eating impulsively, going to those restaurants. I stopped at a restaurant before. It was just two people, myself and another person. And when we went to eat, and we ate something simple, just simple, like a veggie burger. And I think it was something to drink. Drink and veggie burger. I mean, that was like over with the tip, that was like $60. $60. That to me. Anyway, I gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go.
Seems like another love TKO.
All
Man,
right.
but anyway, thank you, everybody. And make sure you check out me. I'm going to be live practically every day. So look at Instagram, check me out. Make sure that you join there and make sure that you subscribe over here on our YouTube. We've really been working hard. Thanks to Care right there. That's the machine. I'm telling you. Thank you so much, Care. You just incredible. We want you also to keep in mind to exercise. Get your buns in shape. Start moving. Hey. Anyway, a lot of love to Eric and Chantel. Looking forward to Wisdom, and which is the baby's name. And we just can't wait to see her. All right. We will see you all next week at 8 a.m. Same time, same place. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.
And I am Carolyn Gentle. Thank you all so much for joining us.